All right, guys, so have a leg workout for you today.
Finish it, Joe. Come on, come on. Get in there.
Up. Yep, that's it. Good. One more, Bryce. One more, come on.
Get it, Joe. Get it.
Right now, kind of gearing everything around Terrence because he's more important than us. I joke that my priorities now are being the most jacked dad at all the kids' birthday parties that I go to show up the other dads. And I win a contest that nobody cares about winning. But anyway, so Terrence is 4 weeks out. And so basically we're just kind of, the workout's not gonna change, pretty much the same workout we've been doing. So you'll see the sequence of exercises. We go seated leg curl, safety bar squats, and then we superset lying leg curls and reverse band hacks to finish. And so if you really look at your hamstrings, your quads, that's pretty much through their near full contractile range. We might finish with a little bit of lunges, maybe a prowler to kind of tie things together. And then from there, we'll just kind of manipulate volume. So Terrence has been in a deficit now, obviously, pretty much since the beginning of his prep, and just dropping weight more so the last couple weeks. So if anything, when we're kind of getting deeper into the deficit, we actually want to keep the intensity high, intensity meaning the loads he's using. So he really hasn't dipped in weights at all. If anything, he's still getting a little stronger on some stuff. And especially considering for him, legs are a strong body part. So basically all that means is we'll probably take the volume down to 1, maybe 2 working sets on each exercise. We'll still hit relatively heavy loads for the most part in that 5 to 8 rep range, maybe a little bit higher on the hack. And then again, we just kind of auto-regulate a little bit from there. So again, the goal now is not really laying down any new tissue for legs at all, just providing enough stimulation. Hopefully we kind of tell his body to hang on to that muscle and not let it go anywhere. And again, we don't want crazy high volume either because we actually don't want too much of a deficit made from this workout. Again, from a calorie standpoint, he's low. Basically, he's letting the diet and the cardio do the work for him now already. So we don't want to have something else that digs an even deeper hole, where he has this massive calorie deficit and potentially loses muscle. So you'll see kind of the sequence we go through those exercises, a little bit of warm up to start, and that's it, let's go.
When the sun rises, I wake up and chase my dreams. I won't regret when the sun sets, 'cause I live my life like I'm a beast. I'm a motherfucking 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 beast. When the sun rises, I wake up and chase my dreams. I won't regret when the sun sets, 'cause I live my life like I'm a beast.
Oh my God, okay, let's go.
It's hard from that bad. Good.
I'll let it out that top. Keep it in there, buddy. Hard, hard.
Yep. I got you now. 1 or 2, let's go. Just keep them quality, I'll get you. Hard. Good, 1 more.
Come on, Terrence. Come on, hard squeeze, buddy.
Hard squeeze. Go.
Finish.
Good.
Nice. Yep.
Working one here.
Deep breath. Put me on the front line. Put me on the front line. Put me on the front line. Put me on the front line.
Okay, come on. Go. Yeah, up. Finish it, Joe. Come on. Get in there.
Good, Terrence. Quality reps.
All right, now we work.
Come on,
Let's
let's
go
go.
all the way through. Nothing less than a pull.
Smooth.
Come on. All the way through.
Hard,
Keep working it up
Easy,
bottom.
all you. Come on, one more quality rep.
Keep working, keep working.
Hard.
Like it.
Good.
Good, man.
That base, let's go. Good set.
You're watching this. Make those negatives hard, make that bottom hard. That's the whole point of the exercise.
Yep.
Yep, that's right, Terrence. Come on. All right, guys, so just a little explanation of the workout order for anybody not familiar. I like to start with seated leg curls. Why hamstrings first? You know, anecdotally, a lot of people have been doing that for a long time. A lot of people like the way it makes their knees feel. So I think there's some warm-up benefit for your knees. But again, from a bodybuilding standpoint, from a physique standpoint, you know, it's already rare for guys to have big legs. It's even more rare for guys that have big legs, big quads, and big hamstrings. So most people, I think, would benefit from prioritizing hamstrings in their workout. And again, anecdotally, my professional opinion from myself and people I train, it doesn't take away from your quad strength either. So starting with seated leg curls, if it's a seated leg curl, you can move on to squats and blast away, it should be fine. The reason we do seated as opposed to basically lying or kneeling, one, I could make the argument because it trains their hamstrings so they're fully stretched. Again, they cross over the knee and the hip, so being in a hip flex position with the knee straight is a fully lengthened hamstring. So it trains them from fully lengthened to their mid-range, where I'd argue they're the strongest and have the most force production. But also, if you get the pads right, pressing into the handles right, you don't have to use any energy or muscular output to stabilize your spine or to stabilize your hips. Just basically all hamstrings working. Or even if we went with a lying or kneeling leg curl first, you have to use some lower back, you have to use some torso stuff to try and keep your pelvis still. And again, while not a massive difference, I do think it can take away a little bit from output when you go to squats. So you don't want your torso or your lower back fatigued when you go into squats. But next we're gonna go into a hack, banded hack, and a lying leg curl. So again, lying leg curl and a seated leg curl. For for the purpose of the lying leg curl. Now that we don't need our spine stabilizing as much, we're gonna train the hamstrings to where they're more fully shortened or fully contracted. And again, because it crosses over the hip and the knee, you need to be hip extended and knee flex to fully contract your hamstring. And then again, the hack is about as good of an output exercise as you can have. Whew.
Come on, Joe. Yeah. Attaboy, good rep. Come on, man. Yep. All right, that bottom.
There you go.
Oh, finish it, man. Come on. Good rep. Good rep. Strong, man.
Come on now, I got you. Hard to the top. Hard, 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 hard. One more, Terrence. Right here with you. Come on. Stay tight. Come on. Hard. Finish. Good. All right, guys, so just taking 2 seconds, trying to take 2 seconds to explain the bands on the hack. So the whole purpose of this, if you want to understand or learn a little bit more about it, look up resistance profiles, specifically resistance profile for squats. Honestly, find some decent Google or YouTube information out there. And basically all that it means is squats are very, very hard at the bottom and relatively speaking, very, very easy at the top for a given weight on your back. And the common sense explanation or visual of that is, you go across gyms in America and there's no shortage of guys that can kind of half squat, 4 or 5 for 10 reps. But how many people can go rock bottom squats, the same distance, the same range of motion, and do 4 or 5 for squats? And so that's the difference. So the whole point of the bands is you want to match what your body's capable of doing. Instead of making it easier at the top, you want to make it feel just as hard the whole way through the entire range of motion. So if you think about bands, obviously when they're the tightest, they produce the most force or the most assistance in this case. And when they're the loosest, they have little or none. So you watch when we're going and we're squatting, you'll see that we have bands from the top. And so basically when you have bands from the top, you're gonna have more weight on the machine, but the goal is the same if you have bands from the bottom. If you really think what's happening here is when it's all the way up and the bands are completely slack, you'll have all the weight that is on the machine. So basically you're picking a weight that you can tolerate at the top. And when you're at the bottom, maybe we're taking off 200 pounds, 150 pounds worth of plates. And so that way you have a different weight at the bottom. And it needs to be a pretty significant difference. I'm kind of making up numbers, but let's hypothetically say it's 400 pounds at the bottom and then 600 pounds at the top. And again, you can have the same exact effect if you did bands from the bottom. So what's the reason from sometimes band from the top or band from the bottom? Sometimes it's convenience. So this is one of the absolute easiest ways to set it up here is there's just these right at the top and just putting these right at the top. But then also I think it's a little bit of a better feel when you have the bands from the top as well too. The feeling of deloading the bottom is a little bit easier on your pelvis, your spine, and your knees. So I always get a lot of questions about that. I don't care how much weight we do on this. If you want to be concerned about how much weight you use, be concerned about your squat. So again, some people, maybe they do bands to make it look like they're using more weights. I don't give a shit about that. I'm not strong compared to actual strong people. I just want the reps to be equally hard the entire range of motion. And pay attention to our failure reps. You want those failure reps to be extremely slow. You want them to be grinders top to bottom, where most of the time if you squat without any bands, you feel it's really, really hard at the bottom, and then it's kind of easy to pop through to the finish. And same thing for all the reps leading up to it. You kind of get a break at the top. So you look at our failure reps here. We want it to feel like every inch is a grinder. And the whole purpose of that ultimately leads to more force production. So more actual load and more actual demands to the quad specifically in this case.
Finish it, Joe. Yep.
Got more. There you go.
Nice rep. Nice rep. Let's pay back for the squats. Take your time, man.
Come on, first rep. Your first rep. Come on. Yep. Good, baby.
Come on, come on.
Come on, man. Come on.
Another one.
Couple fun.
Stay with it, stay tight.
Couple fun.
Alright, push. One more, Terrence. Come on, last one. Tight. Hard, 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 hard.
Yeah, top. Go get it.
Good.
Attaboy.
Red Bull is back. It's Rob Bailey. It's the hustle standard. Marty Poppins. Battle test. Come at me, bro. We can't lose. Black door. We can't lose. It's on me. It's on me. From the sidewalk to the stars. No, I'm never gonna settle. Watch out. I'm getting upset. I'm kinda pissed I don't feel my legs. But I'm happy. I'm overjoyed. Can't wait to see what happens next, boy. Cause I'm new and I'm improved.
Alright guys, so that's leg day. Pretty straightforward. Like I said, if you really look at what I consider most people a leg day, quads and hams, it's about as complete of a workout as you can get. Between the squats, really waxing the quads through the fully lengthened position, through the hacks, almost everything minus the fully short and contracted position, where I honestly don't think is the best place to grow muscle in and of itself. And then same thing for hamstrings through their full contractile range, between the leg curl, seated leg curl, and the lying leg curl, and then some walking lunges for kind of whatever's left. Obviously that kind of ties together, whatever the hell that means, a little bit of everything. So we got quads, glutes, hams, adductors for sure in those as well too. And just so we get a feel for work, had Terrence do 4 working sets for hamstrings total, so 2 at each curl, and then 1 working set for each quad movement, and then just finish with, I don't know, maybe 50, 100 body weight lunges. And again, for him, if you think obviously all of training is a stimulus, so the idea of taking as much load as you can, as far such as you can, and you have volume, or all the things that can stimulate what kind of response you want to get from training. This far in, we can't push everything as far as possible. So the first thing I like to tailor back on is the volume. For the most part, his loads are at their peak, or maybe just slightly off of their peak. And if anything, we're taking sets almost as far, just not quite as far. So taking things, you'll see to failure, a couple things, maybe a rep past failure, where we're cutting to maybe even a teeny bit short of what we used to. And that's pretty much what we'll go. Honestly, kind of auto-regulate, just talking with Terrence every single time before we start the session, through the session. Not rocket science, and just kind of gauge it as we go, where again, at this point in time, he's not putting on muscle. We're just trying to hang on to as much muscle as we can. And so that's the workout. Same for you guys, on paper, whatever that is, 5 exercises total. I guess that's not a lot. Again, I don't really know what a lot means. Obviously, if more exercises was good, then whoever does 50 exercises is winning. But again, I think it was a complete workout. I'm an advocate of getting as much out of as little as possible. And if that seems like a little bit of low volume for you, one, I recommend getting a better training partner. Take sets further first. And then if you're taking sets just as far, not farther than we were, and it's still not enough, then just add a set. It's not rocket science. I wouldn't feel the need to do extra exercises that are just redundant or not as good exercises. So that's it. Hope you guys like it. And again, it's nothing fancy here as far as editing or making us look any bigger, better, stronger than we are. I'm just trying to get you guys a feel for what a standard leg day is for us and how we take it, and especially again for Terrence being 4 weeks out from a show. So feedback below, whatever everyone else on YouTube says. Subscribe, like, comment, share, repost, uppost, downpost, download, upload, tweet it, twat it. That is it, guys. So, thanks for watching, and more to come.
Bored, and it's gonna work. I try to do good and stay away from evil. Work my hands to the bones and take care of my people. Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? I'm just living my life. Am I doing it right? I try to do good and stay away from evil. Work my hands to the bones and take care of my people. I'm just living my life.